Laura Carlsen joins me now from Mexico City. She is the director of Americas.org. Thank you very much for your time, Laura. We had a little bit of a flavour there from our report in terms of why some of these migrants make this treacherous journey. Can you fill us in a little bit more about, what some of the reasons are migrants go on such very dangerous journeys across the US border?
There's a combination of reasons, and it depends also where they're coming from. Of course, the three countries of Central America, El Salvador, Guatemala, and Honduras, are the primary sending countries that come up across the U.S.-Mexico border, but we're also seeing a lot of Venezuelans and people and Haitians and people from other countries. There's the economic reason that they talked about in the clip, which is the tragedy of not having a future because your own economy cannot offer job opportunities to the young people. Then there's the violence. There are many people who are facing gang violence that receive a death threat and from one day to the next have to go to the United States. And that's a very real situation as well, especially from places like El Salvador and from Honduras. Traditionally, these are some of the major reasons that people are making such a difficult decision. They know the risks that are making such a difficult decision to go north because either their lives are in danger or they have no future where they are.
So what do you think that this horrific tragedy says about the state of US immigration, particularly at the southern border?
Well, it tells us that there's a serious problem with the policies. Because to just criminalize the traffickers and say these are bad people, which they are, most of them are involved in organized crime. And that's been a situation that has evolved over the years for reasons that are quite obvious to those of us who've been watching it. But we have to look at what's really behind that. When we talk about root causes of poverty and of violence, the restrictions themselves by the U.S. government and its broken immigration system are also causing these deaths. We have these massive deaths, 53 people in a truck who died in a terrible way because of being smuggled by people who really didn't care about their lives, But at the same time, the politicians don't care about their lives either. When they put these restrictions, they're forcing migrants who have made this choice to migrate into the hands of organized crime, into the hands of these human smugglers, because they can no longer find legal channels to join family members, to serve a labor market in the United States that actually needs them, or to find asylum or refuge, which is an international right. And so with these restrictive policies, they become prey on every sense. And we're seeing a lot of forced recruitment of migrants. When we criminalize the traffickers, the migrants also become more criminalized and they become more defenseless as they try to just make a living and be safe within their families, moving up from the countries where they can no longer stay to a promise of at least survival in the United States.
And from what I understand, a lot of people are also trying to reunite with loved ones who are in the US already. There is, as you say, so much to be done in terms of addressing policy when it comes to immigration law, family reunification, labour. But is there any short-term solution in terms of trying to stop people from travelling in such a dangerous way that could lead to such a tragedy like what we just saw?
Not really, because there's some short-term solutions in terms of what can be done at the border. If instead of enforcing draconian immigration laws, they began to enforce the points of entry where the contraband is coming through, including prohibited drugs, including guns, and including cash. These are the same life flows that feed the criminal gangs that are smuggling the people. And so if you reduce those, you reduce their power and their power to prey upon and extort the migrants, and also their power to forcibly recruit them. That's one thing could be done. Legalization of drugs is not often linked to this, but it's completely linked. If you're looking at it, especially from where we are here in Mexico, what we see is these cartels have become powerful because there's a black market for drugs in the United States, and that makes them it gives them basically an illicit business that makes millions and millions of dollars, and they've expanded from that into trafficking human beings as well. If we were able to bring all of this into a legal, regulated framework, both the illicit substances and the trafficking of people, so the people are safe to exercise their right to mobility, to seek a life that's dignified and that's safe for them, and at the same time the cartels were denied their sources of income and power, then we could begin to see this system resolve in a rational way.